president of Tennessee Mortgage Bankers. And today I have with me Jeff Tucker. Hey, Jeff.
Hello, Carly.
How are you today?
It's been a Monday, but it's all right.
That's right. Well, it's my pleasure to have you with me today as you're serving almost nearing the end here, but as the immediate past president for TNBA. You know, you left big shoes to fill for me when I took this role.
Well, this is also your last day as president, correct?
That's right.
So
it is.
It's a big day.
It is a big day. Well, I have really enjoyed getting the opportunity to work with you over the last couple of years. And I've learned a lot about you, but not everybody that may be watching this video knows as much as I do. So why don't you just share a little bit about yourself?
Okay, before I talk about me, I want to talk about you. So on your last day as president during our 60th year as a professional organization, I wanted to congratulate you on your accomplishments. You've done a lot of really strong things for our association, including all the travel during a pandemic year, managing a budget during a ridiculously tough year. But more than anything, I've been thinking about your presidency, and I'm going to think of you as the one who brought one of the aspects of our mission to the forefront, and that's education. You did that working on the scholarships all these years. When President Jeff Devereaux came up with the idea, you're the one that took it and ran. And we have the scholarship program in the shape that we do now because of your efforts. And then I think more than anything, what is going to set your year apart is having us accepted as an NMLS provider for education, not only for certification, but for continuing education. It should have always been that way, and it hasn't been, but now we're the provider thanks to your efforts and your initiative. So I want to congratulate you on that. Thank you for your year. I don't think people realize the difficulty magnified for you as a producing manager. So it's been a really busy year, not only in terms of your day job, but in terms of your as president of Tennessee Mortgage Bankers Association. And I'm going to put a star right by your name on that plaque when it comes out.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate all those kind words. I have thoroughly enjoyed this year and wouldn't trade it for a thing. So thank you.
Okay, about me, it's not really that interesting or thrilling. Grew up in Alabama, graduated from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. It was a satellite campus then, so I'm dating myself. But went to graduate school, came to Nashville to go to Vanderbilt, and we loved Nashville and never left. So I got into banking as a second career. My first career was in education. Came to Vanderbilt so that I could be trained and certified and educated to be a college professor. And I actually was an adjunct for the first 5 years while I was in mortgage banking. And then in 2003, I made the decision to switch and focus on banking. And at that time, since I wanted it to be my career, I enrolled to the School of Mortgage Banking and started working my way toward the designation of being a certified mortgage banker. And it's one of the best things that I did in my career. I've worked at big banks and I've worked at small banks. I find that I'm happier at smaller banks, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be at Studio Bank now. And if everything goes the way I want, this is where I'll end my career. So have a lovely wife, Allison, 2 children, grown, boy and a girl, and 3 amazing grandchildren. And we have a dog.
Well, I've learned something new. I never knew you were an adjunct professor. That's awesome.
It doesn't pay well.
I know.
Banking is much better. So it was a good decision.
Well, that might explain why you were such a great teacher for our Future Leaders program when you taught this year the TNBA history. And I dare say Jeff Tucker, you know our history better than anybody else that's probably ever served on this board or been president. And so now that I've actually gotten you to agree to be on a video with me, maybe you'll agree to record yourself so that for years to come as well.
Yeah, if I can't be there, and I'm hoping that next year when Future Leaders rolls around, that I'll be able to attend, and that, you know, we'll be past some of the milestones for the pandemic. Yeah, I'd be happy to come and do it again. I enjoy talking about it.
Well, that's good because you've already been tagged, so plan to be there.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a fun question. If you weren't doing this job, what other career would you consider and why?
Okay, so part of the answer's already been revealed. I wanted to be a college professor, and I actually found out that I enjoyed banking much better than that. And I've often thought that I wish I had gotten into banking instead of spending 10 years in graduate school. If I could not do either of those, I have toyed with the idea of practicing law. I think I would be a reasonably good attorney, and that it would be very interesting and fun.
I think you'd make a darn good attorney. All right, so your year as president, right? You had a great year serving as president. You did a great job. You elevated TNBA to a level we had never been at before. In your opinion, what's the most memorable moment for you while you were president of TNBA?
Okay, I have an answer for that, but I think of it more in terms of highlights.
Okay.
Very memorable highlight moments for me. One was Great River Conference 19. I enjoyed being able to stand in front of the room and see the room and just take in the view of seeing bankers from all over the state of Tennessee in that room and being able to talk with them. So that was the first memorable moment. And the conference, it was a very good conference. Another highlight is being able to go to all of the chapters and meet people from across the state. That to me is priceless. Friends, colleagues from across the state, and that's, I think, one of the main benefits of serving in a position like that. Another highlight was having a couple of ideas that I wanted to pursue and finding passionate professionals to help execute those ideas. And the first is Tiffany Cersei Wright. She and I talked before I ever started my year about what could be done to make Tennessee Mortgage Bankers a more diverse and inclusive organization. And Tiffany agreed to help, and she will be my gift to the future of Tennessee Mortgage Bankers Association. Another idea I had was I wanted us to focus more on our advocacy function as part of our mission. And we had woeful neglect of our political action committee fundraising. The budget for that was embarrassing. And so I had an idea about we needed to increase that budget so that our lobbyists would have something to work with and help us elevate as an organization and as a political action group. And so we had a planning session in Nashville, and I was talking about these ideas, and Amy McElveen had an idea about that idea, and she said, let's have a contest. And so we did. And that leads to, I think, my most memorable moment as president is when I heard that Knoxville Mortgage Bankers Association had raised nearly $15,000 for our political action budget. It was a shock. It was a happy surprise. And I was so filled with gratitude that when I went to their luncheon to accept the check, I wore an orange tie.
I remember.
Yeah. So I think that would be it. The most memorable moment was that.
I know, because that orange tie was painful, wasn't it?
It was ugly. Oh, here's another highlight, or we could call it a low light, is when I got word that because we had to cancel Great River Conference 2020, that we may be obligated to pay $190,000 cancellation fee. That was another memorable moment.
Yeah.
We got through that and everything's good.
Thankfully, because it was going to go down the tube for my year.
Yeah.
If that was going to be the case.
Yeah, that would have been tough.
Yes. Well, I couldn't agree more. I mean, Great River 2019 was incredible. And I think it's a great time to plug Great River 2021, August 17th through the 19th in Memphis. I cannot wait to gather again with everybody, all our friends across the state, and be able to have a great event and stand in front of everybody in that room at the Tennessee Luncheon again. So
yeah, that'll be fun.
It will be fun. All right, so Jeff, one last question for you, and you probably have somewhat answered it already, but what has being involved with both Nashville MBA and TNBA meant to you and your career, and why should others get involved?
I would say that being involved at the local level and then at the state level helped to define my career as a professional career. I don't just have a job. I'm not just collecting a paycheck. It's a profession. And I in 2003, when I decided I was going to be a banker, I wanted to be a professional banker. And so my involvement at the national level, going through the certification for the CMB designation, and then my involvement at the local level with Nashville Mortgage Bankers Association, and then at the state level, was my way of trying to not only give back to my industry, but it was a way for me to continue to develop myself professionally by taking on additional responsibility. And it enhanced my career in every way, not only meeting people and making connections nationwide, statewide, but the education, the constant updates about what's going on in terms of legislation and regulation has made me be able to have a better relationship, not only with my peers at the bank, but with my clients.
Yeah.
So I think that I would encourage everybody to get involved in some way so that they can help us better our profession. And I understand not everybody wants to be on stage or in a leadership position. There are other ways to support it. And to the average loan officer out there, to the average processor, to the average underwriter, your livelihood depends on what we do as an industry. And if you can't serve, if you can't get away, if you have no interest, you can at least write a check. So join. If you don't want to join, send money, and then encourage those who are serving and help them be able to do the things that we need to do so that we control our industry and we don't let others control it without our input.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I just want to thank you again for your passion for this industry, your passion for TNBA, and for everything that you've given to this group. You really seriously took it to a whole nother level your year, and I had big shoes to fill, and going forward, you can just go up from here, but you really took us to another level, and I really appreciate your service, and going to miss having you on the board this next year. So thank you for everything that you've done and for your friendship.
It's my pleasure, but I'll still be active and involved. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody. Our next spotlight will be with Todd Brown, who serves as our treasurer and secretary for TNBA. Thanks everybody.